867 Saint Nicholas I, the Great, Italian Pope 858-67, dies at 67. In 1003 Gunhildur, daughter of Danish King Harald Bluetooth, killed in the St. Brice Day massacre of Danes in England, prompting her brother Sweyn Forkbeard to swear revenge. In 1004 Abbot Fleury Florescensis, French abbot and saint, dies. In 1093 Malcolm Roman III Canmore, Bighead King of Scots, dies in battle at Unwick, Northumberland. Historical figure Shakespeare's character based on. In 1143 King Folk of Jerusalem 1131-1143, dies in a hunting accident. In 1314 Albert Roman II, Margrave of Meissen. In 1319 Erik VI Menved, King of Denmark 1286-1319, dies. In 1345 Constance of Penafiel, wife of Pedro I of Portugal b. 1323. In 1359 Ivan Roman II, great ruler of Moscow Vladimir, dies. In 1460 Henry the Navigator, Portuguese prince who sponsored Portuguese voyages of discovery, dies at 66. In 1606 Geronimo Mercuriali, Italian philologist and physician, wrote the first book on sports medicine Der Art Gymnastiker, dies at 76. In 1619 Ludovico Carracci, Italian painter, dies at 64. In 1620 Louise de Coligny, French fourth wife of William of Orange, dies at Fontainebleau at 65. In 1624 Thomas Urpinius van Erp, Dutch Orientalist and Arabist grammar, dies at 40. In 1650 Thomas May, English poet, dramatist, and Renaissance historian b. 1595. In 1689 Philip von Zessen, German poet, and historian Bescheben of Amsterdam, dies at 70. In 1726 Princess Sophia Dorothea of Celle, repudiated wife of future King George I of Great Britain, and mother of George Roman II, dies at 60. British Prime Minister 1763-65 who introduced the Stamp Act, first international tax to the colonies in America, dies at 58. In 1771 Konrad Ernst Ackermann, German actor and theatre director Die Oberpfalz, dies at 61. In 1779 Thomas Chippendale, English furniture maker, dies at 61. In 1810 Marie Josephine of Savoy, Italian-French noble, Queen Consort in exile of France 1795-1810, dies of edema complications at 57. In 1829 Sam Patch loses his live in a 125 dive into Genus Falls. In 1841 Caroline of Baden, Queen of Bavaria, dies at 65. In 1849 William Etty, English painter best known for paintings of nudes, dies at 62. In 1861 Arthur Hugh Clough, English poet, friend of Matthew Arnold, dies at 42. In 1862 Ludwig Uhland, German writer, dies at 75. In 1863 Cannot Posey, Confederate Brig General, dies after being wounded in the Battle of Bristow Station at 45. In 1867 Adolphe Napoleon Didron, French archaeologist, dies at 61. Italian composer Barbara of Serville, William Tell, dies at 76. In 1869 Iskandar Ali Mirza, Bengali Pakistani general and first president of Pakistan 1956-58, dies of a heart attack at 70. In 1876 Pietro Antonio Coppola, Italian composer, dies at 82. In 1883 J. Marion Sims, American physician and surgical pioneer vesicovaginal operation who experimented on enslaved women, dies from heart attack at 70. In 1893 Arnaud Mitchell d'Abadie, French explorer Ethiopia, dies at 78. In 1896 Antonio P. Owaigo I, Spanish composer, dies at 50. In 1902 Evander McNair, American Brigadier General Confederate Army, dies at 82. Danish Antolin and French Impressionist painter, dies at 73. In 1903 Wilhelm von Polenz, German author country of Zukunft, dies. In 1909 Ines Mackay, Dutch politician, Prime Minister of the Netherlands 1888-91, dies at 70. In 1916, Frederick Septimus Kelly, Australian-British composer and Roar Summer Olympic gold 1908, dies at 35. In 1928, Mark Kudzbawski, Polish-German philologist, dies at 60. In 1937, Mrs. Leslie Carter, American actress and writer Rocky Mountain Mystery, The Heart of Maryland, dies at 75. In 1939, George Nichols Jr., actor finishing school, dies at 42. In 1939, Lois Weber, American film director who became the first American woman to direct a full feature-length film, The Merchant of Venice, and the first to own her own studio, dies of a stomach ulcer at 60. In 1942, Daniel J. Callaghan, U.S. Admiral Medal of Honor, dies during the Battle of Guadalcanal at 52. In 1942, Douglas H. Fox, U.S. Captain of Destroyer Barton, dies in battle. In 1942, Norman Scott, U.S. Admiral at Guadalcanal, dies. In 1944, Paul Greener, German romantic composer, dies at 72. In 1944, Wang Jingwei, Chinese politician, 21st Premier of the Republic of China 1932-35, dies at 61. In 1951, Hugo Leichtentritt, German Jewish composer and musicologist, dies at 77. In 1951, Nikolai Karlovich Medtner, composer, dies at 71. In 1951, Nikolai Medtner, Russian pianist and composer Skazi, dies at 71. In 1952, Margaret Wise Brown, American author of children's books Goodnight, Moon, The Runaway Bunny, dies of an embolism at 42. In 1954, Faye Baker, actress sorority girl, dies at 60. In 1954, Paul Ludwig Ewald von Kleist, German general, led the Blitzkrieg, 1st Panzer Group on Eastern Front, dies in a Russian prison at 73. In 1957, Antonin Zapotocki, Czech communist politician, president of Czechoslovakia 1953-57, dies in office at 72. In 1958, Bart van der Lek, Dutch painter and co-founder of the Der Stijl movement, dies at 81. In 1961, Anthony Joseph Drexel Biddle, Jr., American diplomat, b. 1897. In 1961, Wally Brown, American actor, Jed Fame, Simern City, dies at 57. In 1963, Margaret Murray, English anthropologist and Egyptologist, b. 1863. In 1967, Harriet Cohen, British pianist, dies at 71. In 1967, Pierre Muliert, Belgian composer, dies at 60. In 1973, Bruno Madiner, Italian conductor and avant-garde composer quadrivium, Satyricon, dies of lung cancer at 53. In 1973, Leela Lee, American actress, Midnight Girl, Blood Sand, dies of stroke at 68. In 1974, Karen Silkwood, American nuclear lab technician and labor union activist, killed in a car crash under suspicious